Hello, my name is Rebecca Thurman, and I am an undergrad psychology student at Northwest University. My hope today is to open a conversation about how who you are and the way that you grew up impacts your cognitive ability, specifically what we can see between people who have experienced poverty within their lifetime. All of my resources will be provided in the description box below. According to author Galotti, who wrote Cognitive Psychology in and Out of the Laboratory, cognitive ability is a person's mental capacity to perform tasks like thinking, reasoning, remembering, learning, and even problem solving. It is often compared or talked about as general intelligence. With this definition in mind, it is important to remember that each person walks through life carrying with them their personal, unique life experiences that directly influence their cognitive ability. According to Beth Babcock from her 2014 TED Talk, everything that is experienced in life has the weight and power to influence the way that the brain is wired. As she covered the subject, talking about how the use of brain science has been able to help understand the wiring of people who have walked through poverty. But before we dive in to the very specific conversation about poverty and gender, let's blow up the scale just a smidgen to talk about what can influence cognitive ability. Benson's 2003 article explains that the way an individual thinks or their cognition is impacted by the world around them. When we try to understand why someone thinks a certain way, we must also consider the following aspects. What is their gender? Where did they grow up? What experiences have they faced in life? Do you happen to know their cognitive style, their ethnicity, and many more aspects that contribute to every person's individuality that creates who they are as a person? Now that we've understand the baseline and understanding of cognitive ability, what it is and what can influence, let's tackle the question of, is there differences in cognitive ability solely based on gender? The American Psychological Association, or the APA, released a research article that debunks this idea that there are cognitive differences strictly based on if you are male or female in 2014. Much evidence has come up over the many years that have shown that these differences have shrunk due to women being given the opportunity to learn and grow in the same way as male counterparts. Yet the argument still exists. Depending on culture and social influences, there may be differences between male and females, but overall, the truth is that the APA gives us, in the psychology world, a foundation to stand on, that there are no differences that are seen between male and females solely based on that. But what needs to be considered is other factors like social and cultural influences, along with life experiences that does contribute to cognition. This is where outside influences, much like poverty, can come in to influence one's cognitive ability. Poverty affects the wiring in our brains, specifically our executive function, because this experience, that is poverty, causes high stress in life, according to Beth Babcock, who did the study within poverty in brain science. Another study done by Novella in 2019 looked at how experiencing poverty is a factor that has increased the decline of cognition at a faster rate in the elderly participants. The study focused on factors like education, health conditions, nutritional status, financial standings, and how they have impacted the elderly individual's ability to recite and understand things. Another study done by Agia that happened this year focused on the impact of how parental mental health on children, specifically children within poverty lines, has impacted the child's cognitive ability. While parental mental health affects all children's cognitive ability, there is a very steep and stark contrast between those living within poverty lines and those without. Unfortunately, the study also showed that children who grew up in homes with both poverty and mental health often continue the cycle of poverty within their own life and affecting their future children at a drastic rate compared to the children who only had to face the stress of having a parent with mental health issues. Cognitive ability is the way each of us thinks and processes life. There are a lot of factors that influences these abilities. Some are more significant than others, and others are rapidly dissolving depending on the culture and social norms that we live in. Does our gender impact our cognitive ability? No. But our culture, our upbringing, experiencing poverty, these all holds many weight on how our brain is wired and how it functions.